What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Boozer here. Thanks for stopping by. Today we are on the test server here, so thank you Plarium for allowing us access. And in this video, we will be playtesting the Shredder from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles collab that's currently ongoing right now. He is going to be an exclusive champion for this collaboration, so he won't be available afterwards. Obviously, the Shredder is the main antagonist in this entire collab. He is the main villain in the Ninja Turtles series, of course. Currently in Raid, he is a Shadowkin. He's a Void Affinity HP based damage dealer. Now don't get this mistaken, guys. His damage is based off of HP. The higher his HP, the more damage he deals. Aesthetically, he looks awesome. I think he looks pretty true to what Shredder should probably look like. Also, like, he is raidified, I guess. Usually he has three. I think he has three prongs, but in here he has two. I think it works for him. Yeah, he looks great. I think his cape, I would have preferred maybe a slightly longer cape. His cape seems a little bit short, but yeah, he looks awesome. He's really buff. I realized, I'm like, whoa, how buff is this guy? This guy's like, they really buffed him up quite a bit for Raid. But hey, maybe he is a super shredder. Anyways, guys, his base stats here, pretty strong, 23,000 HP, very strong for a HP base damage deal, 103 base speed, which is slightly above average, 63 crit damage for doing some extra damage. He has reasonable defense for a damage dealer, so he's going to be pretty tanky here. Void Affinity means he doesn't weak hit, which is awesome. You want to have Void Affinity damage dealers. Let's take a quick look at his kit here. He's got an A1, Rage of Saki. Attack one enemy 3 times. The second and third hit of this skill ignores 5 and 10% of defense. And then it also deals 10 and 20 additional crit damage as well. That's really nice. On a A1, a triple hit, very solid. His A2, Shadow Shinobi, has 4 books going into it. Cool, books down to a 3-turn cooldown. Each crit hit destroys the enemy's defense by 5%, stacks up to 30%. Each crit hit also increases this champion's max HP by 5%. So you need 6 crits, and he's already maxed out for 30%. So he can get this really quickly, especially considering his A1 is already 3 hits. So you literally could start this off almost immediately. Each hit has a 100% chance when fully booked of placing Leech for 2 turns. This debuff cannot be resisted if this champion is under Veil or Perfect Veil. Best thing about this is that it doesn't need to be placed by himself. So he could be starting the fight under Veil, or he can put it on himself. He does have a passive that does place the Veil on him, which is great. His A3 here, this is true ninjutsu. 6-turn cooldown, books down to 4 turns. He has 2 books for 20% of damage. Boosting here, which is nice to see. Attacks all enemies. Before attacking, steal all buffs from a single target. I wonder if we can target this. We can test this out. I think maybe we can target the champion we want to steal from. This effect cannot be resisted if he is under Veil or Perfect Veil. Fills this champion's turn meter by 15% for each buff stolen. Now that's pretty huge. Obviously, Stone Skin would be the buff you want to steal, but there's probably going to be the 50% chance of Stone Skin being protected or basically not being removed. So yeah, there's that, but 15% turn meter for each buff stolen is pretty massive. We'll ignore 15% of each enemy's defense as well as shield and block damage. That's really nice. If this champion is under Veil or Perfect Veil, we'll ignore 30%. This is very powerful ability, at least on paper. On paper, it looks very strong. His passive effect, decrease all incoming damage by 30%. The damage is split among all allies except this champion. I mean, a 30% damage reduction on an HP-based damage dealer is very good. It's not as good as Taras, who has a 50% flat reduction, no spreading or anything like that. But this is still really good. He also has an effect where his damage increases for each dead ally, which is cool. His active effect, whenever this champion loses 20% of their max HP in one attack, has 100% to evade the next attack. So that makes it a little bit tricky, right? Obviously, when we're fighting him against in the event dungeon, it does provide a little bit of a challenge that you have to navigate. When this guaranteed evade effect activates, places a Perfect Veil on this champion for 2 turns and a 50% chance of placing True Fear on all enemies for 1 turn. The True Fear cannot be resisted. No condition for the True Fear. It's only a 50% chance to place, but I mean, it's just survivability, right? Like, you get the evade right away, so you can't really kill this guy with multi-hits. You kind of have to kill him with 1 hit. And then the True Fear, yeah, it's really nice. It's short of saying, hey, this guy can't die. It's short of saying that. Obviously, there's a lot of things that prevent him from not dying, but he can still die in one hit. But still a very strong passive, and he comes with a big 33% HP in all battles, perfect for a HP based damage dealer. Now let's jump into how I built him, where we can use him, how he performs, and see if he is actually worth picking up. All right guys, before jumping into his build here, just wanted to take a quick look at his multipliers. You can kind of see here, based on Hell Hades website ratings here, we have a godlike A1 multiplier, we have a godlike A2 multiplier, and a godlike A3 multiplier here. So we know that the multipliers on these abilities are very, very strong. So we have some decent expectations for this champion. Let's see what we came up with. So this is the build I have on him. We take a look here. It is going to be lethal and stone skin. This is an arena build. You obviously want him in stone skin so that you can prevent him from being crowd controlled. You don't want to prevent him from dying before he takes a turn. And of course you want lethal here. Lethal or savage would work. You ignore 25% of the enemy's defense. You could put savage. You could put instinct, for example. But I think it's still going to be this type of build for the arena. Now I'm going to start my shredder off with 0 stars, and then we will absolutely juice him up and see what he can do. I think in his base form, he should still perform pretty well. These are the base stats we have on him right now after this gear: 104k HP, 291 speed, 294 crit damage, low accuracy. We're not going to rely on the accuracy to land any of the debuffs. We're just going to rely on the veils so that he gets irresistible debuffs. We're not going to use a relic in this playtest without the blessings. No blessings here. We will fully book him out. He does obviously gain a lot from books. Let's max him out here with the books here. He's got 10 books, which is kind of reasonable. So all done. Yeah, the cooldowns and the increased damage for Shredder definitely need. I mean, any kind of damage dealer definitely benefits a lot from the books, of course. Now let's talk about the masteries here a little bit. There's a couple of different ways you can kind of go with the masteries, I think. This is a little bit more arena focused. We have Opportunist here where you can give, basically deal a bit more damage when they're CC'd. A lot of the times the enemies are CC'd before your nukers attack. Whirlwind of Death, you get some extra speed when you kill stuff. Helm Smasher, of course, is very, very nice. We took Kill Streak here for some extra damage when you kill somebody. Now, you could definitely take support or defense, I think. On defense tree, you can go down to the counterattacks. His A1 is very strong. But I went down support a little bit different. I'll try to explain why. We went for the extra HP here, so that's a little bit of damage. This gives him a bit of healing. If he kills somebody, this gives him some turn meter. This gives him some extra chance at the A2 and A3 back. And then I like the lasting gifts here. The lasting gifts gives him a chance to get the extra turn on the veil. And obviously the veil is very, very powerful for him. So having the extra opportunity to have a longer duration veil is very, very nice. Like I said, the other mastery you could go down is defense and then take the retribution and then deterrence for some more A1s. I'm sure his A1 could slice through some damage dealers or some weak supports. So definitely worth considering there. But in this showcase, I am going to be going for lasting gifts instead. So let's check out the individual pieces here. You want crit rate, crit damage, speed, HP. So this is basically a perfect piece for a HP based damage dealer. Similar, this piece is also perfect. They're also mythical pieces. I have some pretty good gear on my account, of course. If you don't have this, then obviously you just scale your stats down to your own level of gear and progression. Similar here, the top row, basically perfect pieces. You can kind of see speed, crit rate, crit damage, HP percentage is perfect. His glove here, we have triple speed with no crit rate, no HP percentage, but we got the triple speed, which is super important. And then we have an HP based chest here with double speed, and then we have a boot here with a lot of crit rate. We have some extra HP, but no HP percentage on the bottom row, so not quite perfect on the bottom row. Much harder to get super strong pieces, but still very good pieces overall. Ring here, not too crazy with the rolls. Got a 5-star amulet, and then a banner, which is, you know, okay. Let's take him for a spin in some of the different areas in the game and see how well he performs. All right, guys, so we're going to take him into hard 10, just do some of these void affinity waves here. We're just going to bring Lydia. You can't really boost up his HP to start or anything like that, so he doesn't get any damage boost. So let's see what we can do here. Lydia is in a 9-piece Pharaoh set, so you might see the higher numbers. Now I'm going to slow it down for the cameras here. What do we want to test out first? So his A2 here is going to stack up his HP a little bit more. So that means his A3 will be doing more damage afterwards. I think we start off with the A2 normally. Let's see what he does on auto. Let's see which he prefers. He uses the A3 first. So that is what he does on full auto. All right, let's see those numbers again. Let's slow it down and check out the A3 by itself with no boosting from the A2, of course. And 150. We got defense down and weakened, so it's about 150 per hit. It is, yeah, single target hit here, or not single target, but hits once AoE. All right, let's start back again. So let's test the A2 this time. Each crit hit is going to destroy enemy defense, and then each crit hit will increase his max HP. So it hits twice, right? So the first hit will increase his damage. So the second hit will do more damage. Let's see what it does here. 76 and then 80 to 100. It's kind of okay-ish, nothing too insane. Let's reload again. Okay, we're back at it. Let's test his A1 out. So you got triple hit here. Ignore 5%, then 10% on the second and third hit, and then increases crit damage by 10% and 20% on the second and third hit. So let's take a look at the Chagar here. 32, 34, 32. About 100k on the A1. Let's load up again. Here, let's try again with the A1. 42, 40, 45. So about 125 there. I personally think the A1 is quite strong. Keep in mind the shredder is, base level shredder here. Honestly, I'm pretty satisfied with some of those damage numbers. Like I said, base level shredder here. But yeah, let's let this run and see how well he actually performs. So the A2 comes after the A3 here. I would maybe prefer to run the A2 first because you soften them up. Whoa, look at that. Look at that A1. A1's popping off like crazy here. Let's see how he does. Actually, I'm kind of curious. He's actually just crushing these waves just with Lydia alone. We kind of want to see him take a little bit of damage. Whoa, look at that. He has a little bit of resistance just from the gear. Obviously didn't build it into him, but yeah, his A1 is good. Whoa, that's good. Okay, let's see how he does against the dragon. I don't expect him to do anything against the dragon here, but you never know. Okay, he's getting the poisons down. Maybe the leech keeps him alive. Who knows? Here comes the veil. Oh, got the evade. Did the evade save him? No, the poison's going to bring him down. Yeah, there we go. Not too shabby, though. He definitely decimated the waves there. That's pretty cool to see. All right, so he does pretty good damage in the dungeons, even in his base form without any kind of blessings and all that, no relics. Let's see how he performs. I mean, we have pretty good gear on, but let's see how he performs in the arena. And yeah, we'll try him out with this type of team. It's a speed team with the booster, and then lockout, and then we'll see what he can do in this kind of situation here. Should be kind of interesting, I think. Let's see what we can do. So, locked out, and then we can petrify. All right, so we got some debuffs out, so he's going to do some extra damage as well. Let's start with his A3. Let's see what we can do here. He is Void Affinity, so we won't be seeing any weak hits. And boom, about 70-ish, 72-ish K DPS. Yeah, I mean, pretty good. I mean, it's an A3, super wiped out the team. Try back. We can try again with the A2. Let's try again. Now Hell Hades team here. I'm not sure if this is fully geared out. I think maybe it's probably geared out. 630 team power. I think that's probably geared out. So we can take a look again. This time we are faster, so that's really helpful. Obviously in a speed team. Very nice when you go first and all that. All right, petrify again. Let's check out his A2 this time. So his A2, destroy enemy defense by 5% and stacks up to 30. Crit hit increases the max HP by 30%, and then the leech and all that stuff. So 37, very similar. The damage from the A2 and the A3 seem very, very similar. About 75k. This time it's spread over 2 hits. Let's test out the A1 one more time here against the same team. Okay, we are on full auto. Oops. Lockout. Petrify again. Okay, let's test out the A1. Let's go after the Warlord. A1. 23, 26, 33. So again, pretty similar damage. So all three of his abilities roughly do, very similar damage. And it feels like it's enough. It feels like it's enough damage to take out a team like this. Obviously, this is like a speed team. It's less, less tanky and all that. Let's try against this team here. Again, we'll have these teams loaded up, ready, and then we'll see how he performs when he's fully juiced up into Super Shredder form. So we get to go first. Let's see if we can burn off his stone skin. We do. Let's see if we can lock him out. Take off this magma shield stuff. We do. All right, now let's take his A3 for a spin here and slow down for the cameras. 69, 53, 62. So it's a little bit less damage. This is a slightly tankier team, of course. We weren't able to kill everybody, but that makes sense, right? That totally makes sense. We were only able to kill the Fabian. We almost killed the 6-star Narces here, but this is just a limitation on the Shredder being basically a base level Shredder. But so far I am relatively impressed. Now, just for completion sake, we will gear him out in a PvE build, and then we'll use him without any blessings in a Hydra run, and we'll see how well he performs against some other damage dealers. All right, so I swapped out his Lethal Stone Skin build for this 9-piece Merciless set, and I still think it's going to be one of the better PvE builds for him. I think his kit definitely can be used for PvE. He does bring leech, he does bring good damage, so he does have some utility, but obviously, he's not going to be like a premium PvE champion. And I'm talking mostly about like Chimera boss, Clan boss, Hydra boss. His most likely spot will be maybe Hydra boss, but we can test him out against some other damage dealers and see how well he fares. Here's the total stats on his build. I'll show you guys the Hydra stats here. So 90k HP, 264 speed, 292 crit damage. A little bit low on the accuracy here, but it should be fine. Let's do some quick battles and see how well he performs. All right, guys, so we are on Nightmare difficulty here. We're still using our base Blessing Shredder here. We're going to bring him in this team. AoE decreased defense and weaken from Lydia with increased speed. She is in a Hex set. She'll be providing the Hex. So if you're on here for the HP burn as well as the revive. We have Shredder here in the same Merciless build that I just showed you guys. We have Thor here. He's juiced up. This is a pretty juiced up Thor. He's got the 5-star blessing here. I skipped the relic on him. Easily you can put crown on him for some big damage. He does have Nature's Wrath, and he is in a 9-piece Merciless set as well. We do have Shamail here to cover the Head of Torment, and then we have Bivol here for Leech, Shields, and the Provoke. Let's see how this team fares. It's not an insane team or anything like that, but it does give Shredder a kind of more moderate DPS comparison as well as a higher end DPS comparison. Let's see how well it performs. All right, so 268 total damage here. We're on Nightmare difficulty. Lydia pitching in with 44 million damage. Most of her damage is coming from Hex. She's not doing any damage from Brimstone or anything like that. So if you're on 38 million with HP burns, Shredder 49 million, Thor with 107. We got Bivol here with 17, and then we have Inquisitor Shamail with 26 million. Now, this is absolutely not a bad performance here from Shredder, doing about half the damage as Thor, but about twice as much damage here as Shamail. Now, we can run this one more time and then see if it's actually consistent numbers here. In this case, the run didn't last 1,000 turns. We did 39 million with the Shredder, and then in this case, Thor did exactly twice as much with 78 million. But Shredder consistently doing more than our Shamail here is a good sign that he is at least a better tier damage dealer than somebody like Shamail, but definitely not as strong as somebody like Thor. Now, keep in mind that this team is not fully optimized for Shredder. If you have somebody like Duchess, Duchess can provide Veil uptime, so then Shredder can get higher ignore defense, so he can probably deal a little bit more damage. Just remember these figures will juice up our Shredder, and then we'll come back and see how well he performs afterwards. All right, guys, here we go. We have our Shredder here, and we are going to give him the ooze treatment and make him into Super Shredder. We're going to 6-star fully max him out here, and let's see what he can actually do against this Thor in Hydra. So now 6-star fully blessed, we're going to give him the crushing Ren treatment, going to give him some extra ignore defense. I mean, if he doesn't surpass Thor with this type of setup, it's obviously safe to say that he is not the premium Hydra damage dealer, but then this setup would be very ideal for somebody for arena, of course. So let's go for it. Crushing Rend, 6 stars. Let's see how well he performs. We're going to skip the relic here just because our Thor did not have a relic himself. We're not going to compare that. Forgot to show you guys the total stats here. Let's show him the total stats after getting juiced up. 300 crit damage, 259 speed, 98k HP. 4k defense on this guy is actually kind of insane. But yeah, let's jump into the Hydra run. Do some quick battles. Keep in mind that Thor was doing twice as much damage as a base Shredder here. I'm not going to use this one, this example, of course. See if we can go distance. All right, in this case, we did 276 million damage. Thor, 93 million damage. Shredder getting real close here, about 80% of Thor's overall damage here. Keep in mind that Shredder is in a 6-star blessed build, but needless to say that Shredder is not a premium Hydra damage dealer. He can still pull his weight, but his best use case will be in the arena. So let's take him back into the arena and see what he can do. But first, let's quickly do some of those damage tests again in the Dragon Dungeon where we took him initially and see what he can do here. We're going to switch up Lydia's build again because she was in a Hex set for the Hydra team. Let's change her back up to the Feral set that we were using. All right, so after swapping out Lydia back into her 9-piece Feral set for the damage test, we swapped back the Shredder back into his Lethal and Stone Skin build. Here we go. So total stats with the 6-star Crushing Ren, 112k HP, 306 base speed, 332 crit damage. Yeah, he is juiced up. All right, so this is his arena build. We're going to skip the relic here on him and see how well he performs. I don't think he's going to need it, but obviously if you have a big Cat's Gaze or a big damage dealer relic, then of course you put it on him. But yeah, let's test him out in the dungeons where we were before. Keep in mind that we were doing about 140, 150 k damage on basically across all his skills. Check out his A3 here, slow it down for the cameras, and he's doing about 170, 200. I saw 235 here at the end. So yeah, pretty good damage. Let's reset here real quick. Obviously, we expect a damage boost from going from 0 stars all the way to 6 stars. Let's check out his A2. 90, 100, wow, 100 up to 170. So the A2 hitting super, super hard there. Even wiping out 2 of the guys. Pretty strong. Reset quickly. All right, decrease defense and weaken. And then we'll try out the A1 here. 60, 60, 70. So about 200. Definitely sizable improvement. Now let's take him into the arena and see how well he does against those 2 teams that we faced earlier with the base Blessing Shredder. So same team here. We're up against Hades' team here. 620, 630 team power. We basically killed everybody in his base form. Let's see if we can kill the Sifi this time. Last time we were not able to. But then we were able to kill everybody else. She was petrified as well. All right, let's see what we can do here with the A3. Slow it down for the cameras. 70, not significantly more. It doesn't feel significantly more damage. With the 6-star Crushing Rend, we can... Oh, am I missing gear somehow? Let's see. I was missing one piece of gear, but I don't think it's going to be significant at all. Try again. I think the petrification definitely prevented that CP from dying. Otherwise, he probably would have been dead. Try again. Petrify again. Okay. I'm going to come back in. Let's try the A2 this time. Slow it down for the cameras. What kind of damage are we doing? 57. This time we were not able to kill the Laz. Interesting. I guess Crushing Rend doesn't provide that much additional ignore defense against arena, like against like enemy mobs in the arena. Whereas it's really, really strong against like boss content because you get quite a bit of ignore defense. But I would imagine the extra stats from the 6-star Crushing Rend to be, you know, to be pretty good. I'm actually surprised at this overall performance here. With the 6-star, it's not performing that much better. Try it again. Okay. For some reason, the sequence is different. I guess we didn't petrify the CP. Okay, this time we killed them off. A little bit different. Okay, let's try this. Ian's team here is obviously a little bit more tankier. I'm a little bit surprised at his overall performance with the 6-star Crushing Rend, but let's see what we can do here. We'll play some other teams as well. Okay, let's jump into the A3. Whoa, there we go. This time we killed the Ancora straight up. Yeah, that's pretty strong. The A3 there. Let's try that again. We've yet to see him use his passive, actually. We'll actually try to put him in a different team to take advantage of his passive. Find a more optimized team for him. Let's see. Okay, so let's test the A2 here. It's about 80 total damage. 80k total damage. The A3 definitely seems stronger, that's for sure. Try again. Okay, shields are gone. Okay. Let's try another team here. Maybe somebody that's way more tanky. Let's try against this YST team here. So YST's team, pretty tanky, got Harima here as well. I think what we want to do is maybe we'll try to go for the... I think we'll try to go for Duchess. The Duchess will bring a Veil, so it gives him Veil. A bit more ignore defense. Duchess is tuned to go before the Shredder. Okay, we locked everybody out. That's great. Okay, here we go. So Shredder is under Veil. Keep in mind we are fighting against the passive from Harima and Duchess. So here we got 30% ignore defense. $33, $40k. Yeah, I mean, doesn't seem crazy. It doesn't seem that crazy. I don't know. There's a lot of things working against him in this team. Obviously, we got the damage reduction from AoEs, and then we got the Harima passive here. A lot of stuff working against him here. Pretty tanky team. Wasn't able to one-shot anybody. Maybe if we go back in with the A2 to decrease their defense and increase our max HP, that might be able to do it. All right, let's go in with the A2. Oh, the A2 dropped the Harima there. Got the pickup. But that's going to decrease their overall defense. No stone skin destruction you know, that's going to be a big limiting factor there, of course. All right, we're under Veil still. So let's see. We got 30% ignore defense here. Boom. 71k on that Armands. A lot of damage reduction coming in. I'm not too sure. I don't know. Obviously, very tanky team there, but not too bad. All right, we'll come back in here again against the Hades team. We go first. We will lock them out. Kind of petrify the Sifi. And let's see if we can blow through the Sifi this time. Okay. Boom. There we go. There we go. But the Sifi this time wasn't petrified. Damn it. The Sifi was not petrified this time. We'll try again. Luckily, there's not too many teams on the test server, so able to find a Hades team again. Lock them out. Petrify. Okay. She removed the petrify. Why did she do that? Why did she do that? Why did she do that? All right, let's check out the A2. A2 kills everybody here. Yeah, so the only reason that CP was staying alive is because of that petrify. All right, and I think for fun, let's fight him against the turtle teams here. Yeah, let's see it. Let's see how well he does. I have no idea. So let's see. Still gonna use the veil here to boost him up a little bit. Whoa, Leonardo, crazy. Petrify him. And then no veil or anything like that. Let's see if we can blow him up. Not quite. Donnie's passive kept somebody alive, I think. Can the Shredder defeat the turtles? Boom, and he does. Let's try this team here. Same situation. We missed. Fully locked them out. Can we shut down Leonardo? Veils up. Can we blow them up? Nope. Donnie's passive. Yeah, Donnie's passive. Lots of turtles going down. Chop, chop. There we go. 18k on the A1, the first hit. How many turtles can we destroy? So obviously, like, these teams are not like arena teams. We're just gonna check out Shredder's abilities here. Multi-hit here on the A2. Yeah. This time the Donnie passive couldn't save. Just because of the multi-hit. I think that's gonna be it for Leonardo. Let's test him in a go second situation because his kit actually can work pretty well as a go second. The problem is he can't be locked out if you want him to basically attack and try to one-shot his whole team. So again, with his kit here, when he gets hit and loses 20% of his max HP, he has the evade, which allows him to basically potentially get a turn. He also places the fear, which is really cool. And of course, his damage will increase when your teammates are dead. So in a go second situation, he definitely could be viable. So let's take him for a spin here against this team. Like I said, no lockouts. Otherwise, he can't use his big AoE hits. Let's see if he's actually playable in this way. Slow it down for the cameras here. All our food champions will die, so we'll get all the boosts and stuff like that. Stone Skin allows us to not die right away. And ideally, the other team does not have Stone Skin. So here comes the Shredder, and he gets a turn. Dead. So here, let's see how well he performs against the Turtle team. This time, I'm not too sure if we'll go first or not, but most likely. I would expect Elsie to have pretty fast Turtles here, but our Shredder's pretty well geared. Yeah, we do go first here, unfortunately. Let's try again. Seems like every single team has a lockout champion, so that's not going to work super well. Let's fight. Cold Brew has lockout here as well. So yeah, pretty, yeah, let's see how well it does against this team. Actually, no. Team's not going to work out. Nice is just an absolute menace there. Let's see. Damn, actually very limited selection here. So we're going to fight against this team just because he doesn't have a lockout. And we're trying to remove some of the stone skin here. But we're going to expect most of our champions to die before Shredder gets a turn. Let's see how well this does. Nope. Nope. Nope, nope, nope. Okay, let's see how it plays out here. Our passive triggered. So we have an evade effect going on right now. The A2, so the evade. How well will Shredder perform against block damage? Let's see. Nope. The evade is kind of nice. It gives him an extra chance at getting a turn. And it will protect him against a multi-hit, for example. So if he evades, if you attack him with a multi-hit skill, he'll just evade the full skill. It's not evade. Evade doesn't work off hit. It just works off of the skill, which is kind of nice. But yeah, unfortunately, not great team selection here on what we can actually use him against. Obviously, that kind of strategy is not going to work against any kind of lockout. And it seems like literally every single team has a lockout champion here. Or we're fighting Taras Marichka. Let's see about this team. I mean, this is kind of a nothing team, but let's see how well he performs against the mythical champion here. Burn through the stone skin, super important. Big hit. Transforms. And the health swap, absolutely insane. Drops him. All right, guys, that's going to sum up this showcase on the Shredder here. I would say I'm relatively impressed with his overall damage. His kit is a little bit on the awkward side to set up. The Veil is not a huge draw to his kit because for him to actually activate it, he has to get hit. And as a damage dealer, you don't want to get hit to get a damage boosting condition. So you kind of have to run him without the damage boosting condition. So you're going to run him with a 15% ignore defense, and you're going to run him with basically the inability to land leech. Because his Veil, we have to assume that it's going to be inconsistent. Now, he does have mechanics in his passive that give him a chance to utilize the Veil, like evade, the fear, the damage reduction. And once he has the Veil on, he becomes an absolute menace, of course, with the boosted ignore defense, the boosted damage here, 15% per dead ally. That's huge as well. And of course, lining the leech without accuracy is huge. In his base form, I mean, without Veil, he's still quite strong. I kind of showed that even without the blessings, without crushing Ren, without the extra stats, he was still performing pretty good. Keep in mind the gear on him is quite strong. It's some of the best gear on my account. So obviously his performance is going to be different for everybody's account. But I think he's a viable damage dealer, and it's super nice that you can build him like super tanky, and he has a nice passive to keep himself alive, and he kind of has an extra chance mechanic with his Veil and an evade conditions here. So overall, I like him. I don't think he's going to be Omega S tier or anything like that, but he does seem quite viable as a general damage dealer. Void Affinity really, really helps as well. Anyways, guys, let me know in the comments below what you guys think about Shredder here and this overall showcase. Will you guys be going for him? Are you guys excited to pick him up? If you picked him up, what kind of build and experience and results have you been seeing? Let me know in the comments below. Would appreciate that. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the collab so far, and I'll see you guys in the next one.